what will be my live stream every single day in August. So I'm doing 31-day live stream, and this is to collaborate with a series of videos that we're going to be uploading to our Data+Train YouTube channel around the certifications. And the first certification we're going to focus in on is the DA-100. This is the Microsoft PowerBI new role-based certification. So it's an awesome new certification. There's an additional 5-day course if you want to learn more about it. I've got some information about that, but we're going to focus in on these streams and these videos around self-serve, self-learning resources. Okay, so I'm going to take you through where you can go and access a bunch of those, take yourself through a journey. I'm going to be sharing a bunch of information as we go, and one of the first things I want to do is just quickly kind of transition over to kind of grab this one here and just cut over. A quick mind map of the overall certification and the 5 different subcategories that we have, or functional groups really, for the exam itself. So the exam has certain percentages associated with each of these functional groups. The first one is prepare the data with a 20-25% percentage. We have model the data, it's going to be a 25 to 30%. The visualize data is going to be and I realize I can't spell visualize on the screen here, at 20-25%. The final 2, analyze the data and deploy and maintain deliveries, are both 10 to 15%. So overall, it will work out 100% kind of spread across all those 5 functional groups. So what we're going to do over the next 4 months, with 13 videos every month on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday, we will load a new video. New video will focus down onto a couple of specific items into the content, and we're going to show you what those different areas are shortly. So in the first month, we're going to kind of have the prepared data. Then we're going to look at model the data. Visualize the data will be in October, and November you can see here we've got analyze the data, and we've also got the deploy and maintain the resources. I'm just going to over and just zoom in a little bit so you can kind of see it a bit more. So this is what we're going to cover in August. I've got some initial content loaded. I will put a lot more into this, and it's going to be an evolving content as we go. So you come back each week and you'll learn a few more kind of steps on your journey. If you're looking to do something a bit quicker, then is now on the 24th of July, they released the new DA-100 exam course, I should say, exam course, which is a 5-day instructor-led course with individuals like myself who are Microsoft certified trainers with the right competencies and expertise to go and deliver those courses. Now, I'm going to be doing 2 public deliveries of this course. The first one's in August, 17th to 21st, and then again in October, the 19th to 23rd. My details are on my YouTube channel, where you can kind of go and find more details about that. I've got a video up already, and it's a low-cost option right now to go and attend that. But if you are not looking to pay for any instructional and you want to do self-paced learning, over the next 4 months we're going to kind of provide content for you on a kind of 3 times a week basis. So we're going to start with prepare the data. Let's go and actually look at what that is really all about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the high level exam DA-100 certification page. So if you want to go to that, you go into just look for exam DA-100, and we can see that it's the new certification. It's for the Microsoft Certified Data Analyst Associate certification. So there's a new certification that requires 1 exam, just this DA-100. You get 700 or more points on that exam and you're going to pass. If you get under 700, you will have a fail. It's just a fail or pass. You will get some scoring back. We'll tell you how well you did in the different categories and function groups. Whether you pass or not, you kind of see where your strengths and weaknesses, and maybe you want to kind of the stuff you weren't as good at, rather than some other function groups you might want to improve over time. But it's an ongoing learning experience. It's kind of, but to get your certification, you need to pass the exam. The exam has, let's say, instructor-led, and it covers all this amazing content. There's a 5-day 13-module course. I will have outlined that in a separate video on my YouTube channel. But if you want to learn more details about that, you can go and kind of find out, and there's additional kind of journeys to certification. You can kind of see the skills outline that we're going to look at now. We can look at the self-paced learning, which I'm going to explore in a lot more detail with you. And of course, we have that course. I managed to kind of write all over it. And there's some hands-on labs, etc. I'm going to show you a lab that you go and spin up with no cost. It provisions up some content for you, and you can go and run through and perform the steps. And we're going to give you a quick glimpse into that. The videos I've got coming out this week are going to be covering that in more detail with more steps and more kind of cadence in terms of what we're explaining and how we're doing things. But tonight I'm just going to explain what we're doing for the next few weeks and what we have in store for you. So yeah, there's a couple of kind of certification steps you can do, and you will get that certification at the end if you're looking for that. Okay, so let's go and look at the details of what's in the skills measured. So as I just explained, prepare the data 2025, visualize, model the data, sorry, 2530, visualize the data is 2025, analyze the data is 1015, as well as deploy assets. So that total will be there. But if we go in to look at the detail, which is this download link, it takes a PDF for that, and it goes into a lot more content. So that 2025, let's zoom in a little bit, and you look down, we've got get data from different data sources, profile the data, and clean and transform and load the data. Inside of those, we have smaller kind of tasks that you would be expected to do. So configure loading, data loaded, resolve data import issues, evaluate and transform column data types. So you need to kind of look at what these are and evaluate whether you have strengths and weaknesses. The way we can do that is to show you some resources you can go and kind of perform some tests. So something called Role IQ from Pluralsight, that's in collaboration with Microsoft, that kind of helps you understand where your strengths and weaknesses might be in the subject right now and give you some structured learning on that. We have some labs we're going to show you from the Microsoft Learn that's going to take you through that as well. Okay, so let's kind of have a quick look and see if we can see anything in there. Let's have a escape out of that. Oh, I need to use the key combination. So let me go into the get data for Power BI, and essentially that's going to be this top link here. So I'll make this available in on Monday when I launch the video, and you're able to come and click these links and take yourself through that. But if you just want to go into Microsoft Learn and find get data in Power BI, you'll find this, and then we go down, you'll see that there's a number of tasks there, and I'm going to take you to the lab prepare data in Power BI desktop. And what I do have is I have that already loaded, and I'm just going to just go grab that now. If I can find the window, so it seems that there it is. Okay, and bring that over, and let's go and full screen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to go right to the top and show you kind of what there was. I just was checking the lab was working. So I came in and I kind of, let me do Control-Alt-Delete to lock the station. I came in and I would have something looking like this. Once I've clicked on that lab and it's provisioned, it will come to the screen. I can then click on Control-Alt-Delete. I can click on this button here, which is zone in. Click on the T there, and it's going to type into the student window. Click return, and I get basically these steps. Now, what I need to do is then follow the instructions through. So this one was to kind of just to save an open blank file called sales analysis, come in and change some of the option settings so that we, when we're doing this kind of load, we have unchecked the relationships pane in step 9, so that we are currently not asking it to kind of automatically create the relationships, because that's what we want to do in the exercise in the lab. We want to be able to do that ourselves. We then want to grab some data from a localized SQL server, so something called localhost. And if I click the get data SQL and fill out kind of the instructions there, so I did localhost here and clicked OK, I would get a list of databases that are available there. So let me kind of go grab that, And in here we have a bunch of different tables. So I would be looking, for example, like the DIM employee. And I can see on the right hand side then a screenshot of that table. I want that table along with a number of others, so I go and pick the one. So DIM employee, I think it was also DIM reseller, sales territory, I think fact reseller sales, there was a couple of others. Which one was they? Let me just have a look. So we were looking for, if I can remember which ones it was. So we're looking for, let's have a quick look. Here we go. So DIM employee, and we want to also do DIM employee sales territory. So that one just underneath it. DIM products, DIM reseller, DIM sales, DIM sales territory, and fact reseller. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to click on the transform data as opposed to the load. And this then allows us to go into a product area called the Power Query Editor. And this is where we can do a whole bunch of kind of additional editing of the data, manipulation of the data, shaping it, getting it ready. So I'm not going to go through all the steps. I want to kind of show you some of the things that I'd kind of turn on a little bit here. So I was picking, for example, like the DIM product, and I was picking one of the areas in there, and go and pick a column here. And I think we were looking at, so get the cookies in the right place. And if I come back, I've got DIM product category. I can see there's values. I can go and start looking at kind of more detailed information about the quality of that, how many nulls might be in the column. If I go look at different tables, I can also kind of see more information, like is there any empty columns, in this case null. But if I go over a few of these other entries, we would see that they would have maybe a large percentage of nulls. So this information is going to help us preview the data, see what the values are, etc. And we will kind of just learn more and more about the product and the data that we're using, and see how useful that is. So we can see we've got a 4% entry empty here for 13 records out of 296. Doesn't sound like a lot, but maybe having those missing records will really kind of mess up your calculations and the accuracy of your data, because we need to have a record for every single one of those entries there. So we can kind of come and look at the profile in here. So this lab takes you through the resources that get deployed, how to also kind of get a bit of help as well, how to use the learn on demand system. And you can come in and do this exercise. Let me kind of move out of the way very quickly by just going into this module and walking away doing. When you get to the repair lab, it's going to have at the top, it's going to have this launch lab section. You click on that, and that's going to launch your lab for you, and you're about to kind of go in, and it's going to explain what it's doing in there. When you've finished with that section, and here it's explaining what you're doing, you'll get a quick check of your knowledge. So we're going to have the ability to see if we've understood the exercises, the section that we're working through. So here, which language would use to extract SQL? Well, we've got MDX, T-SQL, or DAX. I'm gonna plumb for T-SQL on this one. You're creating a Power BI report with analysis services. You want to refresh the data immediately. So I'm going to think probably a Connect Live would be a good choice there. And what can we do to improve performance when you get data into Power BI? Well, there's a couple of examples there, but I'm thinking some calculations in the original data source will probably be my choice. I can check my answers, and I'm a good, I kind of know my stuff by the looks of it. And you'll then be able to go on to the next module. So these are built in, and I will say that some of the content in here is very, very good, because it's actually forms some of the content that's in other courses and deliveries, and also the same teams have kind of worked to provide the exams. So there's a lot of good information here. There's a ton more information I can share with you around Power BI and your journey on learning and being able to take the exam, but we're going to cover those in those videos for you in a lot more detail, step by step, with lots of links and instructions. Okay, so let's go back to the exam itself for a second. Let's go back to the major section and go down to where you go on the free online. You see there's the start of each of these sections, and as I say, we've got the training certification. We also can see where this sits inside of the overall certification kind of, you know, portfolio. So we've got an Azure certification. Now I scroll down, there's our DA-100. Now this was replacing the previous Power BI 7778 or 2778 course. And I will say, if you scroll down a little bit further, there is some new fundamental courses, and there's a new DP-900 Azure Data Fundamentals. This is going to be very, very good if you also want to do Power BI, because this deals with kind of data and the fundamentals of kind of storing and getting data in and around. Also, if you want to know more, you can click on that link and it will take you to what's involved in the skills measured in that. So you can kind of see that we're working with SQL and NoSQL like Cosmos DB. We're working with analytics workloads like, you know, we've having things like the Synapse Analytics and a lot more, you know, core data concepts again. There's also the online as well as the instructor-led. The instructor-led is a one-day instructor-led course, and it got some more details about what we're covering in terms of things like Azure Databricks and a bunch of others, but how we would then visualize the products in the end result with something like Power BI. So we're going to keep it nice and short today. We're going to kind of keep it with under the 30 minutes, and I know we had a few minutes where it wasn't recorded. I had to stop and restart the stream to get it working. So we've got a few more minutes, and I'm just going to kind of show you a few more things, and then we're going to see you tomorrow, which will be the kind of the full agenda of what we're breaking down. But before I do that, let me go into what we're covering straight away. Let me go back to the exam, and I'm going to go to the DA-100. So come down, and I'm going to click onto the link. Going to go into the certification. Now what I've done is I've looked at the full breakdown of these. Let me kind of just make it a little bit larger so you can see it nicely on the screen. And for example, on Monday I'm covering these two subjects. Okay, so I will be coming in and look at these specifically. On the Wednesday one I will be covering the second two, and I'm pretty much doing two, sometimes three, and occasionally there's one where it's kind of quite a big topic on each video. So in the course of next week I've got the first 3 videos covering those, and then the first Monday of the next week we finish off with the CDS and parameters, and then we'll have anomalies and data structures and statistics and column properties. So over the next 2 weeks the get data from different data sources and profile data will be covered, and then the following 2 weeks we have the clean and transform load data, and this is going to take us through 1, 2, 3, and then we've got 1 and 2, and then we've got a final one, which is going to be where we're covering some additional stuff that's not kind of in here that you should really kind of know if you're doing Power BI. And it may not be on the exam, but it's kind of because it was probably in preview state when the exam was designed, but it's now come out preview, so it's kind of won't be on the exam, but it's now a non-preview item, and I'll cover off those at the end of the month and explain what those are for you as well. So if you have any questions, I'm just going to check the chat window. I don't know if we've got the chat running. It seems to if anybody wants to put a chat in there to see if we kind of see anything. I'm not seeing anything on the list there. We see if I can move my cursor over to pick up the other information. I'm having to look over the other screen, so I apologize for looking away, but I can only get so much in front of me, and if I can see it, no, I've lost the cursor. Okay, all right. Unfortunately, my cursor just tends to blend into the background, and then I try and kind of move it around and I can't see it, so it's actually frozen on me for a second. Let me just move this out of the way again and just come back and press the button. Okay, so I think what we're doing is we're going to wrap up today's session. If you have comments, if you want to put your questions to me, then you can get me over to Twitter, which is Neil_Hambly. That's, let me kind of bring over, if I can get the cursor around back. I do have completely lost my cursor. Let me kind of, there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up one of my collections, and I'm going to bring up my, where is the one? That's no, that's not the that's not the one I want. I want my Twitter. There we go. So I'm going to bring up my profile so you can kind of see the details of who I am. If you want to follow me, it's Neil_Hambly, spelled like that on the screen. Post your question and just put, just put hash DA, a tag of DA-100, or just ask your question. I will probably figure out it's to do with Power BI. Doesn't have to be about the certification. It can be just a Power BI question. So feel free to put those up there. I will happily share some of my knowledge the best I can. I will give you a bunch of resources, but we're here to kind of also teach deliveries if you want to do an instructor-led one. So with all of that said, I welcome anyone who's been with us tonight live. Thank you for joining me. If you're watching this as a recording, join me at 8:30 British Summertime BST every day in August 2020. And I'll be talking about this and some other certifications like the DP-900, the AI-100, 900, DP-100, you name it. There's a bunch of Microsoft certifications I will be covering over the next few months. Data+Train is here for the data professional to help them, educate them on tools and services and ways of doing their job better, with better education about better education about the skills. It looks like my voice is just about to go, so a little bit of lubrication helps, and we will kind of get you through your exams and prepare you rightly for those. No dumps, no cheating, knowledge. We're sharing that, we'll get you there, and I will see you maybe tomorrow, if not later in the month. So I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe, hit the like button. If you don't like what you see, tell me. If you do the thumbs down, please give me a comment why you put thumbs down. And if you like a thumbs up, I'd like a comment as well. So I will see you the next time. Stay safe. Bye for now.